Ladies and gentlemen, here we have what is called the knife angel. It is an angel that has been constructed by all the knives, or a lot of the knives, that the UK police has confiscated as part of knife crime. And this is their whole new initiative, that this knife angel is traveling around the UK in order to make a stance. It's not actually red, it's actually like grey in real life. It's just that it's nighttime and there's lights shining on it. So basically the whole point of this knife angel is to raise awareness of knife crime and to deter people from picking up a knife. Now, why am I making a video right now? You might be wondering. Well, because I want to talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry that it's dark. I was going to just like take a picture and then edit it, but do we all know? Have you guys met me before? Yeah, that's not going to happen. So just bear with me a moment. It will get brighter in just a moment. But I've decided, this for me is just another one of the many reasons of things that frustrate me in this world that we live in, right? Because as somebody who's worked with a lot of young people, particularly in London, and particularly young people who have been involved in situations that do this type of thing, or even grown people, I don't think people realize, and this is one of the reasons I just don't like the world in general, do people actually think that most people just wake up wanting to have a reason to go to prison, or just wanting to induce violence? You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate that they're making an effort to address it, but it's kind of like when I say about addicts, where I say it's no use telling somebody to stop taking something if they haven't dealt with the root cause of why they picked it up in the first place, right? Or why they became reliant upon it in any type of way in the first place. And I kind of feel the same thing about this whole knife malarkey. Yes, it's all well and good, and yes, they should be safe, and yes, people should make different options, but it's not just that people are stupid. A lot of people genuinely haven't even had the training, and a lot of people feel unprotected. There are a lot of very unsafe spaces where you go, even in London. I've been in some of them myself, which you could unsafe spaces where you say the wrong thing, you look at somebody the wrong way, and something will happen to you. London, for the places in London that are like that, it is just like that. You can just look at the wrong person the wrong way and you're done. You know what I mean? Not to mention a lot of other issues of people not having healthy ways of protecting themselves, because again, they might not have a father in their life, or a whole bunch of other things that might be happening. They might have just found themselves amongst the wrong crowd because there was a lack of strong and very necessary leadership. So it just kind of frustrates me when we just always are slapping band-aids on problems and not solving the overall solutions. Because what I've learned anyways from working with young people is that I am actually severely privileged in comparison to a lot of young people today from certain areas of this country, because I'm in England, obviously, because I had people that could help me know how to get a job, or help me to prepare for an interview, or know where to even go and stuff like that. Not to mention the fact that the freaking school system, which I cannot stand, which is the reason why I work in teaching, because I feel sorry for the kids. And I'm just trying to help them because I know how hard it must be for them. The other thing is a lot of these school systems, they'll have people, especially young people, who are going through really complex and difficult situations. And if you're the type of person who just cries and has anxiety and sits in the corner, then great. We're going to all understand that you have mental health issues, and we're going to give you all this extra support. If your resulting way of expressing what you're going through is through anger or through misbehaving, which, for example, one of the reasons, I even heard Derek Jackson said this specifically, and I was thinking, yeah, exactly, right? What he said was, I'll stop for a second because I'm near where I'm going to go. Derek Jackson specifically literally said, the reason why I used to act up in school is because I wanted to get people's attention, and it was to do with the fact that his mum, ever since she was with all these different guys, you didn't used to give him the attention that he used to get from her. So this is why he would misbehave. But now I know in the UK, for example, kids get excluded, they get sent to the pupil referral unit, which for me is just like a kid's prison essentially, right? And then there's all these statistics about 80% of the kids who go to this pupil referral unit end up in prison or whatever. And it's like, yeah, no shock, Sherlock. Of course the freak they did. Because everybody's just giving up on them and is talking to them like they're little demons while they're going through hell. No one's hearing them out. No one even knows what they're going through. They might not have the language. Most kids don't have the language most adults don't even have the language to express what they're going through. And yet we just throw these kids into these situations. And then, once they're finished and you turn 18 overnight and you're just thrown out into the world and everybody expects you to know what to do with yourself by yourself. And then they find themselves, guess who's ready to snatch them up? The wrong people that get them involved with stuff like this. And so then when you meet a young person, do you really think saying, oh, there's better choices in life and that's all you've had to say to them is good enough? When you can't protect them, when the area they grow up in they've grown up in is a dangerous area because it's the only area that their family can afford, and everybody's doing the best that they can, which unfortunately means a lot of people are flirting with the lines of legality and all of this type of thing. Like, this is why this type of stuff, like, I just hope if anybody knows more about it, please tell me. I'll have to look into it. I just want to say that unless this is actually something that we're doing where we're actually like actively, purposefully doing stuff about the root cause. If we're not doing that, then this is all just very annoying, to be completely honest. And I'm actually freaking sick and tired of this world always sitting on their high horse thinking, oh, I'm judging this person, or this person's doing this. Oh, look at them. Yeah, like you probably didn't go through these circumstances, because I know I didn't. That's why I'm not judging. I know I didn't go through the circumstances of a lot of people who make these types of decisions. I know that I was blessed. I was privileged to not have to have endured what some of these people did. And I know that if had I, maybe not me specifically, but people that are close to me, gone through it, right, they would have ended up in the same type of place, because these are human beings. Like, people don't want to go to prison. People don't want to be risking their life to do all this stuff. So I just find it super duper annoying that we always act like, oh, when somebody's in a bad space, if somebody is, choosing to deal with things through violence, if somebody is become an addict, if somebody ends up in prison, if somebody, whatever it is that you sit on your self-righteous high horse of privilege looking down upon them at, like, if you were there, you might look at the situation differently. And I just thank the Lord. I honestly thank God. This is why people will say, like, oh, I don't know why God lets me go through stuff, because I don't know why God let me go through this thing, because it really hurt me, because blah, blah, blah. I don't question that, because you know why? God let me go through the things that I've been through, the best and the worst of it all, because so I can actually be the one person who actually has empathy and understanding for these people, and who can talk to them from love and help them to get to the root so they can create a better life, not just slap on some wound or go and do some little whatever, what would you call it, campaign to try and make myself feel better, like I'm doing something, when the real work isn't being done. You feel me? So yeah, that's just what I'd like to say about this. I hope that this is something that they're actually thinking about, and it's not just another classic. We've spent millions on something when we could have just been spending millions going around and literally walking around. Like, there was a charity I used to work with. They were a business and a charity. So they had a business and they had a charity side, right? On the business side, these guys used to literally do in London, and this is why I worked with them, is they would go find young people just loitering around, and they would give them a job. They would give them a job and they would pay them. Because I'm telling you guys that if people were paying young people, this is why with a lot of the stuff I plan on doing, all the things that I'm working on, I plan on hiring a lot of young people. Because a lot of these young people, especially a lot of these young people picking up knives and stuff, if they actually were given the opportunity to live a better life, they actually wouldn't be doing this stuff. Telling them don't have a knife or don't do this is not that helpful if you're not changing the circumstances. If now they're the only person who feel unprotected because they know the area they live in and they know the things that have happened. I can't even tell you guys, growing up in the UK, so many guys that I've known have told me, and in different types of ways, whether it's guys that my brothers are friends with, or my brothers, or like guys who I've been around for work, for school, for guys that I've even talked to or dated or whatever, where either them or their peers have actually had guys who just get accidentally even stabbed, for example, because they found the person who was looking to stab somebody thought was the wrong person. Do you see what I'm saying? And so when we're just sitting here on our high horse saying, oh, we need to just put these down and put that down and all this, you don't understand that, first of all, there are strict networks going on of intimidation and all sorts. And again, it's not for the place of the government to try and dismantle these networks. It's for the government to make these networks not something to aspire to be a part of or feel like you have to be a part of in the first place. And that's what we're not doing as people. That's what we're not doing as adults. All we're doing is saying, don't do this. And then you do these cute little schemes. Like, I'll never forget, I was talking to this group of guys again. I was doing working as doing youth work type of thing for this company, a different company now that I'm talking about. And I was in an area of the UK that's known for a lot of crime, right? So I was out with my colleague, it was late at night, and we used to go and play sport, like just go randomly walk up to young people and like ask to them to play sport with us and just talk to them and get to know them, right? Which is actually really interesting and fascinating. So as we were doing this, I stumbled across this group of like young guys. They were all like, I think between 18 to 20 years old. And we were just talking to them. And one of the things that they were saying is that how a lot of these campaigns that they do for younger people, again, it's like they have all these activities that are actually not even interesting. They're not helping to further your job role, right? Or your career path. You go and do some fun activities at some center or some whatever, doesn't lead to anything. And then when you turn 18, there's nothing that applies to you anyway. And they literally told me, they were like, all that we do is literally just hang around here together and all smoke and do this and that, because what else are we going to do? There's nothing else for us to do. There's no jobs around here. No one wants to, like, there's nothing that's going on. And now that we're too old, we're just pretty much left to the wolves. Hello? Do that not leave those people to become the exact people that can end up doing other things if they feel like this is what, especially in times like this where we're in the financial crisis? Think about the people who are really, really like on the line, like these type of people in their households. Like, think about the young men who are out there with their watching their mums struggling, and who actually have their masculinity is intact in the sense of they have a sense of protection of their own family, which is not, they shouldn't have on their shoulders anyway. And then you expect them to just sit there and do nothing when the government is not even doing that. When we're here giving Prince Charles another 40 million per year for whatever, when we're here spending, I was thinking, I wonder how much money was spent on this knife angel. To build it, and some architect from wherever who probably lives a pretty good life probably built that thing. And yes, they might have had a sense of purpose and a sense of like meaning and wanting to help. And I don't think that everybody who wants to help has the information they need to have, which I appreciate. And that's also why I like to share a lot of my stuff. And again, why I don't regret the things I've been through or the people I've been around or involved myself with at any point in my life, because it means that I get to be the voice for others. I feel like I'm always the voice for people that who are not given a voice. Not even that they don't have a voice, they're not given a voice, because I've been the same person. I've been the same person in scenarios where the reasons why things were happening or things I was doing certain things wasn't because that I was just an idiot. Like, there's real life and real stuff going on, right? I mean, I remember there was even this one, I won't even get into the stories because I've got so many stories of young people that I've met who get involved with this stuff. All I'm saying is, like, when we're out here all sitting on our self-righteous high horses of privilege, let's not forget that there are people with way more complex situations than us in circumstances we can't even possibly dream of. And sometimes because somebody does something that you feel like you could never or would never do, or you feel like there's all these options, doesn't mean that they know that those options are there, and doesn't mean that those options are actually there. And it doesn't mean that the reason why they're not choosing those options is because they're just stupid. There are other factors at play. There are other things that are going on. And also, a lot of these campaigns, can I just be completely honest, are ineffective. It's a lot of wasted money. This is one of the reasons why I realized I actually would like to be rich, because I can't just sit back with this stuff, you know. I can't just, and this is why I always say to people, I don't really give to charity. I don't give to charity. I be the charity. Like, when I want to look after a problem, that's why I worked with a company that I thought was doing the right work of actually giving young people jobs. And that's where I would choose how I would choose to give, not just give to these random charities who pretty much do the same things at the same time. The problems are only getting worse. And then we have all sit on our self-righteous high horses of privilege, judging other people. And that's, for me, is just the opposite of the message of Jesus. This is why I love Jesus, because Jesus really met people where they're at. He didn't walk up to them and start just telling them, oh, you need to do this and you need to whatever. He says, drink from my cup. Like, this cup is a cup that will never end. This is an infinite cup. You shall never thirst again. Do you know what I'm saying? That the love of God is for everybody. That the message of Christ and the message of the salvation and the saving of your soul and the partnering with the blessings and the victory in life with God is for everybody who chooses to receive him. yeah, that's somebody I can get behind. Not a lot of these campaigns. Like I said, I'm not trying to say that this is exactly what this campaign is doing. It's just that this reminded me that I actually wanted to talk about this, number one. And number two, it also was a good point for me to actually just mention this, because I also think a lot of people just don't know. So maybe, hopefully, I've said something helpful. If you guys have any more questions, please let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you're joining. Oh my gosh, butchering my own ending. If life's a game, let's play to win. God bless you all. Sorry that I made a random video like while I'm out about to go and get some groceries after work at 11 o'clock at night. But anyway, God bless you all, and I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.